What a bunch of a-holes.
Welcome to this edition of Action Video Game Talk. I am your host, Scott Action Jackson, and I thank you for joining us here. For those of you who know, sometimes we get these bit of articles completed / recorded, and then there's some actual news that kind of breaks while it's being done. One bit of news that I'm going to talk about here is the actual, well, I guess you could call reveal of the next Call of Duty game. It's supposed to be Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, where you have soldiers wearing armor, Halo Spartan armor. And to me, that, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But anyway, that's my bit of info on that piece of news that broke, I think, late yesterday. So let's just get to the actual news. When Mario Kart 8 releases on May 30th, gamers will have the choice to pick up a bundle that includes the game, a system, and other goodies. Nintendo announced via a Nintendo Direct that the deluxe bundle includes the game, the Wii U, a red racing wheel, and a red Remote Plus controller for $329.99. The company has also announced an offer for a free game. If you buy Mario Kart 8 and register it with Club Nintendo before July 31st, you get to pick one free digital game. The choices are New Super Mario Bros. U, Pikmin 3, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD, and Wii Party U. I actually like this idea for this bundle. Look at it this way. For those people who are wanting to get a Wii U and wanting to play Mario Kart 8, this is an awesome bundle. Because not only do you get the game, the system, a red racing wheel, a red Wii remote, but you also get a free download game, which could be, like it says, the new Super Mario Bros. U, which you can play as like any of the main Mario characters in cat costumes. You could get Pikmin 3, which is nice if you're a fan of the Pikmin series. The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD. There you go. If you're a Zelda fan, you can play that. And Wii Party U, which I'm not even going to go into that. Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3 is now available to download for the Wii U's Virtual Console. The release of Yoshi's Island marks the final release of Nintendo's announced Game Boy Advance Virtual Console titles for the Wii U. It also follows the release of Advance Wars, Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga, Metroid Fusion, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, and Golden Sun. One thing I don't like about this is how, of course, Yoshi's Island is a good way to stop with the Game Boy Advance releases onto the Wii U, but the fact that it's not that many of the games that were released. Wasn't there like hundreds of Game Boy Advance games that were actually made? And yet there's only 7 were actually released for the Virtual Console and the Wii U. They could at least go to 100. There's got to be more than this as far as like the official Nintendo Game Boy Advance games. A pair of brothers, Jeff and Robbie Benson, have been working on an EarthBound documentary surrounding the continued appreciation of the cult classic game. The film, titled EarthBound USA, is inspired by the EarthBound fan site Starmen.net. The studio has been performing assorted interviews with fans about the game and its rise to limited popularity in the United States. On the film's official website, a description of the film reads, "The documentary is called EarthBound USA, and it's about how EB fans have fought to popularize the Mother series in North America since 1990s. The Bensons had hoped to keep progress on the film under wraps a little bit longer, but after an interview with EarthBound creator, he tweeted out that he's spoken to the two about the film in an interview." Now, it is always nice when some companies try to do a documentary based around or on video games, especially something like this, EarthBound USA. And in case you were wondering what the EB initials were for, yes, it was for EarthBound. I mean, the last video game type documentary that I remember seeing was the one for the Donkey Kong games. What was it called? King of Kongs or something like that? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this little film turns out, let alone if it'll actually come out on the theaters, maybe Netflix/Blu-ray/DVD. April is ending, and with it the month's instant game collection. PlayStation Plus members can pick up Velocity Ultra for Vita when the store updates this week. It's also your last chance to pick up Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP and Vita. We've also entered the last week of availability for Mercenary Kings for PlayStation 4 and Batman Arkham City for PlayStation 3. Be sure to claim them before they're gone. Now, I am glad that the April PlayStation Plus Instant Game Collection is over with, considering they only had actually one great game, and that was the Batman Arkham City for April. I'm looking forward to see, if these games that they announced for May are going to be good or not. DriveClub has been in the wilderness since it was announced last fall that it would be part of the PlayStation 4's November launch. But now, a new release date for the game has been revealed. The game will come out on PS4 on October 7th. That day is already crowded, with Dragon Age Inquisition, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, and Alien Isolation currently slated for the release. The announcement for release date represents some progress for the game, after suffering the loss of its creative director, studio layoffs, and hints of a new direction. So, what the heck was the frickin' issue where it took them this long to give an actual release date for DriveClub? To make it worse, it's October 7th, where there's a lot of good games coming out that date. Seriously, was the game that bad that they had to delay it this long? What's wrong with them? I'm surprised it wasn't cancelled. The PlayStation 4 is updating to version 1.70, and Sony has offered some additional details on what to expect. The biggest addition that comes included with 1.70 is the Share Factory, which adds a whole suite of additional options for editing your captured gameplay footage. Aside from Share Factory, you can expect a number of other changes like automatic pre-downloads, the ability to turn off HDCP for the expanded capturing options, live HD broadcasting and archiving support, options for your controller like dimming the light, as well as the ability to use the touchpad to type on the keyboard, friends list, trophies, alternative payment options in the store, and added voice commands are all also part of the update. PlayStation Plus subscribers will also now have a representative icon on their IDs. Though a time frame wasn't offered, Sony also detailed some updates related to Vita version 3.15 and PlayStation app version 1.70. The Vita update will make it easier to connect the handheld to a PlayStation 4, while the mobile app will receive an update to offer more push notifications at your direction. Okay, so there's two major things that I know and heard of about this update for PlayStation 4. One is the Share Factory. I've been hearing two things. One, it's a great thing to more or less merge your game captures and make a video out of it that you might want to put up on YouTube. Second, I've been hearing bad things about it. So I'm on the fence about trying it, so that kind of leads into the second major news about this update. You can actually take the capture videos, the game captures of the videos that you made, that you streamed on Twitch, you can put them onto a flash drive now. If you've been waiting to grab games like Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, or Persona 4 Golden, now might be the time to quote up that download. This sale runs through May 5th and is likely held in honor of Golden Week in Japan, a week that encompasses 4 national holidays. Now, I've seen the list of the games listed for this little sale, this Golden Week sale, and it's got a good amount of games, like the Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger games, the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, one of the Hyper Dimension Neptunia games, some of the Metal Gear games, although there is a lot of stuff that should be missing from this. I mean, this is supposed to be a sale for games from Japan. Just about every freaking game is from Japan. I mean, one actual video game series that I see missing from this list is Final Fantasy. Why is the Final Fantasy games missing from this list? Web-slingers feared they might not get to play Amazing Spider-Man 2 on Xbox One this week when it released for a slew of other systems, but the game is indeed ready to go on the platform. The game is currently available to purchase on the Xbox Marketplace, and it's been downloaded and played. This week there was consideration when Xbox One's version's artwork was removed from the game's website. At the time, Activision and developer Benox said that they were working to get the title out in time for the system, but that its release was not guaranteed. Now, it was a bit of an issue when they actually said that the Xbox One version of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game was going to be delayed, even possibly cancelled. But this proves that the version that they make is actually workable, even though this is just the downloaded version. So, I'm guessing that they're actually going to go ahead and release the retail copy of it, which hopefully they'll try and get out to the stores as soon as they can. I mean, if there is an issue later on, they can always just, do a patch or a download later. Minecraft is a bona fide phenomenon, and although it may not seem like a big slice of players, those of you looking to continue playing the Xbox 360 edition of the game on an Xbox One will be relieved to hear your save will transfer. Xbox head Phil Spencer recently tweeted, "After months of teaming up with Mojang, we can confirm that Minecraft Xbox 360 edition will save transfers to Xbox One edition. More news soon." The PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 editions are also planning to allow a transferable save. Whether this will happen for the Vita version is still to be determined. No release dates have been set yet for the Xbox One or Vita version of Minecraft. This is kind of good news and bad news. This does let people know who have the 360 version that their stuff that they've created and made can transfer over to the Xbox One version. The bad news is that there doesn't help with a release date for the Xbox One version. And with them saying it could be the same thing with the PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 version, that'd be great. But yeah, the major issue here is an actual date for the Xbox One version. When the WWE Network rolled out this year, the dip in productivity around the United States was more than noticeable. With access to on-demand content going back decades, it's no wonder that fans have been anticipating the network's arrival on Xbox One. The WWE has let us know that day has come. The Xbox One joins Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PC, and mobile devices. Now, I don't know if there was some issue with Microsoft or with the WWE Network itself so that it wouldn't work on the Xbox One, but I'm glad to hear that it is finally actually able to be on the Xbox One now, because this is a great service that the WWE Network is. Not only does it have old school stuff, but it also has current, and especially when the present pay-per-views are happening. Right now, it's just the simple fee of $9.99. Now, there's been rumors and talks about the price going up, which I hope it's not true. The Mass Effect Trilogy of games may have a next-gen re-release in its future if a listing on a Chilean retail site is to be believed. Neo GA for Rusher Sauce recently noted listings for the Mass Effect Trilogy on both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on the retail site Zmart. There is no listing for a price or release date, but it does allow customers to sign up to receive a notification when the games are available. Now, this is really nice, especially for Mass Effect fans who have a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. If this officially comes out, and we do have a price and an actual release date for the US, let alone all over the world, this will be really sweet. Bungie is really interested in allowing players to transfer their Destiny characters between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, and Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Tyson Green of Bungie tells IGN this is because there's going to be a lot of people who buy Destiny on a PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 and then get a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One for Christmas. Then it's like, don't tell me I just wasted my last 4 hours there. So we are really interested in supporting that. The Destiny team doesn't want to lock people in, so it seems likely your save data and characters will transfer between generations. So once again, this is another case where your actual save info can transfer from the previous system to the current generation, or In this case, the present to the next gen, whichever way you look about it. Bungie has been working on this for a long time. They know what they're doing. Injustice Gods Among Us is reportedly set to receive a sequel in the future, according to reports from WonderCon. According to furious fanboys, Injustice Gods Among Us 2, or whatever it ends up being called, was briefly mentioned in a segment discussing the upcoming Arkham Knight due out later this year. We currently don't know who's developing the game, and there's no word on a fixed date. Assuming NetherRealm are back at the helm, one might assume the studio is working on a new Mortal Kombat title before returning to DC. If this is the case, a release next year may be unlikely. Then again, if a new studio is heading up the project, a release in 2015 isn't beyond the realms of possibility. Now, from what I heard, Injustice Gods Among Us was an awesome fighting game, and it does make sense for them to make and work on an actual sequel. But the question is, when they will officially say that they will. The next installment in the Dragon Quest series is in development, series creator Yuji Hui said at the Niku Niku Super Conference 3. According to Game Juhu, as translated by Jinmatsu, Hui didn't confirm whether he was talking about Dragon Quest XI, which would be the next numbered entry in the series, but he did mention the project after being asked about the status of Dragon Quest X. Well, actually, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, he said, but I'm working on the next one. According to the original report, Dragon Quest developers seemed surprised when he made the comment. The most recent numbered installment in the franchise was Dragon Quest X, which is yet to be released outside Japan. No further details were released regarding the MMO's localization. Now, I have tried a few of the Dragon Quest games. Of course, they were, the very older ones, and I think one of the original DS games. But it's nice to know that the series is still going on. It seems to me like they should bring over Dragon Quest X before they work on an actual Dragon Quest XI. The project to excavate ET Atari cartridges from a landfill in New Mexico has proven fruitful, effectively providing the urban myth to be true. Back in March, Lightning Interactive and Fuel Industries announced intentions to uncover the fabled cache of Atari ET cartridges from a New Mexico landfill. Xbox Entertainment Studios also got involved in the excavation with plans to produce a documentary on the project to appear on Xbox Live in the future. Xbox Live's Larry Major Nelson tweaked a few pictures from New Mexico, like the one you see here, showing a collection of trashed ET cartridges among others. According to Martin Goldberg, co-author of Atari Inc. Business is Fun, who reached out to offer some clarification on the exciting news. Atari has been experiencing myriad financial issues for some time, but it all came to a head right around the time ET was licensed, developed, and released in 1982. ET became a poster child for Atari's financial ruin, and a collection of ET cartridges along with overstocked Atari games were rumored to have been dumped in the New Mexico landfill as a result. Goldberg also offered the following statement via email on the news. Except for the relatively good condition of some of the stuff being pulled out, this hasn't been a surprise for us so far. As we reported in the book, and as we reported at the time, what was dumped here was a wide selection of game titles, E.T., Centipede, Raiders, etc., and hardware. Not that it was a massive E.T. dump. The initial findings so far seem to support this. Now, I am kind of wondering why they're doing this, why they're digging up the old landfill where they buried these ET cartridges along with some of the other Atari stuff. I'm guessing it is just to prove, if the myth is true or not, let alone to find some of these stuff. A representative from Microsoft has offered some insight regarding the future of the recently uncovered cache of Atari cartridges, but it's mostly still up in the air. As the cartridges were found in a Alamogordo, New Mexico landfill, the cartridges legally belong to the city, and it's up to them, ultimately, to decide what's to be done with them. The Lightbox team, who helped begin the search, is taking some of them at the permission of the city, and many others will likely be given to museums. At the moment, those are the only details available. Now, one thing I am wondering is how much of this stuff is actually working and how much of it is just plain old junk. But then again, with some of the stuff that is kind of junk, I guess they could try and piece it together and make some art out of it, or, you know, some of the stuff they said right here is going to go into museums, and that's some good news. And from what I heard, the actual ET game, if it's workable, is actually worth a lot of money. I don't know why it's worth a lot of money, it was a crap game. Disney has formally announced Disney Infinity Marvel Superheroes. The title will be out this fall and will include the Avengers, Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and villains including Loki and MODOK. The characters share a look similar to the original Disney Infinity characters. The building elements, including title sets featuring Marvel Manhattan, Asgard, and more will be featured. The starter kit will come with 3 Avengers, Thor, Black Widow, and Iron Man, the Avengers playset, and 2 mini game discs. All 1.0 figures, power discs, and base will work with the new game. Toy box saves from the original are compatible too. This year will feature approximately 20 new characters and 60 new power discs. The discs are still blind buy, and there are new types, including costume changes and sidekicks like Iron Patriot and the Winter Soldier. The characters will fit into a number of different categories like Brawler, which is Captain America and Thor, Ranged, Hawkeye, Agility, Black Widow, and Hulk. Each will have skill tree so players can upgrade a number of different stats. For instance, Thor's hammer attacks, lightning strikes, flight, health, and more can be upgraded on the road to the new level cap of 20. Locomotion will be a new aspect that will differ from character to character. Some can fly, some can climb walls, and others are stuck on the ground. Thankfully, all new vehicles like Agent Coulston's Lola, a mini helicarrier that can carry multiple characters, and new motorcycles can help players speed around. The toy box is getting an overhaul, and Disney says players are spending over 60% of their time in that mode. Not only are there new mini-game discs, the starter set comes with a tower defense and a dungeon crawler, but building is even easier. New brushes can create complete, complex cities, forests, and more in no time. You can also task AI builders to create different types of environments for you, with different choices working on trees, caves, buildings, and more. The new version will let players enter structures with a door tool. Once inside, you can customize interiors with different components. Players will also get a home that can be decorated to display the variety of achievements earned throughout the game. For those that prefer to download created content rather than build, Disney is hiring on some of the community's best builders to work with Avalanche Software in Salt Lake City. Disney Infinity Marvel Superheroes will be out this fall for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Wii U, PC, and iOS. A new starter kit is required for the Xbox One, but the PlayStation 3 base will work on the PlayStation 4. Wow, where to begin with this Disney Infinity Marvel Superheroes? Of course they're going to look like the Disney Infinity characters, that's expected. Let's see, what do they say? It's gonna, I guess, kind of start out with the Avengers, Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and villains, including Loki and MODOK, but I think also in the trailer, the Green Goblin, or at least one goblin, flew by before Spider-Man came swinging out. The whole thing with the toy box and being able to build actual Manhattan areas and cities and forests, that's going to be awesome. Now, the one thing that does confuse me is the starter kit. The 3 Avengers it comes with, Thor, Black Widow, and Iron Man. To me, it would make more sense if they had Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. I mean, those are the 3 main Avengers. And then they give them approximately about 20 new characters. That's a huge amount of characters. I mean, they could throw in a lot more, like, they could actually throw in maybe some X-Men. Yeah, the little level tree / leveling, that's going to be great. Especially with the different character abilities and stuff. Some characters will actually be able to fly in this game now. Climb walls like Spider-Man. I'm guessing this is going to feel like a whole new version of Disney Infinity. And with them saying that's going to be out in the fall this time, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was targeted for maybe like September to November, just to try to get that early Christmas shopping out there. Trian's World MMO shooter Defiance will be going free to play on June 4th on PC. The target date for PS3 is July 15th, with Xbox 360's date currently unknown. The free-to-play model will be similar to Rift, with no gated content but many available items and cosmetics to purchase. All new and existing box copy owners will receive boosts, character shots, keys, and currency. The creative lead on Defiance states that the top tier or highly prized loot won't be available via the cash shop. The best stuff in the game will still only be available by earning them through encounters and achievements, he says. The free-to-play MMORPG environment presents players indulge of options these days. Why check out Defiance? Defiance is the only massive cooperative third-person shooter. It is entirely unique in its genre and experience. It's like Halo and Red Dead Redemption had a baby, and this baby decided that we are going to fight space aliens in San Francisco, and there's no one else out there offering that experience. When Defiance first came out, I did pick it up for the PS3, and I enjoyed it. It was awesome. It's a third-person MMORPG, and the statement here that says it's like Halo and Red Dead Redemption had a baby, that's not exactly the best way to put it. I mean, of course, you're fighting aliens, and of course, it's in third-person view, but the game itself was great. And there was some stuff that you had to, purchase separately, but you could play the game for free. There was no actual fees that you had to pay when you were playing it on, like, PS3. But now I guess it's going to be totally free to play, especially for PC, and I guess for the PS3 it's going to have all the purchasable stuff for free, let alone the stuff that you get from just going through the counters and stuff. But I hope this doesn't mean the game itself is going to stop at any time. Okay, so it's now time for past week's major new releases. First, we have Gardening Mama 2 Forest Friends for the Nintendo 3DS, Legends of Oz Dorothy Returns for the 3DS, The Amazing Spider-Man for 3DS, PC, PS3, PS4, Wii U, and Xbox 360, Kirby Triple Deluxe for the 3DS, Mario Golf World Tour for 3DS, Daylight for PC and PS4, Rambo the Video Game for PC and PS3, Red Faction Complete for PC and PS3, Blood Rain Betrayal for PC, Child of Light for PC, PS3, PS4, Wii U, Xbox 360 and Xbox One, Darksiders Collection for the PS3 and Xbox 360, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Stars Battle for PS3, and Raiden 4 Overkill for PlayStation 3. So that'll do it for this edition of Action Video Game Talk. Once again, thank you for joining us. Once again, I will post a link down below for the Facebook page, and then if you want, go over there and like us so you can follow us on Facebook, or you could also go down and hit subscribe so you can actually follow us. I will be posting up the separate videos for the articles later on. Until next time, which may be next week or a few days, bye.